Video I want to show you how to use the angle sum theorem. But before we can talk about the angle sum theorem, we need to review triangles, everything that you're supposed to know already about triangles. So I'm going to do the following. Triangles. First of all, a triangle looks like this. This is a triangle. Okay. Now, there's many ways you can name a triangle. One of them is using the sides. Okay, so what is so special about the sides? Well, we use congruency to label them. So what you're gonna see is you're gonna see something called a scaling triangle. And scaling triangle, what it is a triangle where no sides are congruent. Every side has a different measurement, so none of them will be exactly the same. So that is a scaling triangle. Now, there's something called an isosceles triangle. Okay, if you're taking chemistry or physics, you know what ISO mean. ISO means the same measurement. So, for example, isothermic is a chemical reaction where the temperature is the same, or isobaric, the pressure will be the same. So isosceles means two sides are the same. So two sides are congruent. Are congruent. Okay, and then there's something called an equilateral. And equilateral, the base word is equi. That means equal. So in this case, an equilateral triangle is a triangle with three sides that are congruent. Okay, so I can name the triangle, I can classify it depending on the sides. So this triangle, the one that I drew, is probably an isosceles triangle. That means the three sides, they have different measurement. None of them are equal. Okay. Now, there's another way you can classify it, and that is using the angles. We have isosceles. Using the angles, one of them is um, acute angle. Acute triangle. And the way you name, remember, acute means one of the angles is, that means less than 90 degrees. So what is an acute triangle? Acute triangle is one acute angle. Okay, if there's one acute angle, then it is an acute triangle. So remember, acute means between less than 90 degrees. Okay, now there's also an obtuse triangle. And that way, it's not one acute angle, is at least one of the angles is acute. There could be two, there could be three, but at least one of them has to be acute. So that is acute triangle. Now, obtuse triangle is one obtuse angle. If there is at least one obtuse angle, then it is an acute triangle. Okay, what am I doing? So it should be obtuse angle. So basically, if you have something that looks like this, That'd be acute triangle because all the angles are acute. So this would be acute. Okay. Now obtuse triangle will look something like this. One of the angles will be at least obtuse. So one of the angles is obtuse. So this acute triangle is obtuse. Now there's something called a right triangle. And what that means is one of the angles is going to be a right angle. So one, and the way we say right angle is this symbol, one right angle. So on a right triangle will look like this. And this little symbol means that this angle right here is 90 degrees. Okay, so this is stuff you're supposed to know already is how to classify triangles using the sides. That's scalene triangle. I messed up right here. That's any scalene triangle. That means no congruent sides. Isosceles triangle. That means one, at least two of the sides are congruent. And equilateral means three congruent sides. If I classify the triangle using angles, there's an acute angle. That means that at least one of the angles or all of them are acute. Okay, obtuse means there's one angle only that is more than 90 degrees, and a right triangle. That means is one of the angles will be a right angle. Okay, now the next thing you're supposed to know is the following. We're talking about angles right here, not triangles, but angles. This is a protractor, and these are instruments we use to measure an angle. Okay, what you're supposed to know is this will be 0 degrees, and this will be 90 degrees, and this will be not 0, but this will be 180 degrees. So what that tells me the following. If we have an angle that is a straight line, then the measurement from this side all the way over here will be 180. Anytime you have a straight line, it is 180 degrees. We're using that fact, okay? So a straight line would always be 180 degrees. Now the other thing you're supposed to know is the following. Definition of a linear angle, linear pair. And definition from Google, definition of linear pair is a linear pair is a pair of adjacent supplementary angles. And supplementary means you add it will be 180 degrees. And the reason why they get supplementary is the following. This is a straight line, so the measurement from here to here will be 180 degrees. You're supposed to know that, okay? Now, I don't like the definition of linear pair because you're assuming that there has to be two of them, but you know what? There could be two, there could be three, there could be four, there could be many, many, many of them, okay? And the last thing you're supposed to know is the following. If you have vertical angles, and I think we covered this already. Vertical angles means the following. Instead of memorizing the definition, let me show what they look like. If we have straight line here and straight line over here, okay? This angle and this angle are vertical angles. They're opposite each other. Now this angle and this angle are vertical angles. And the definition of vertical angles, there's the vertical angle theorem. All vertical angles are congruent, so this is congruent to this. And this angle right here will be congruent to this angle right here. So all vertical angles are congruent. They are congruent. Okay? Now, what I'm going to teach you today is called the angle sum theorem. And that means the following. If you have a triangle, any triangle, okay, it doesn't matter what shape, how it looks like. Okay, if you have any triangle, now to help us here, let me label this angle A, angle B, and angle C. There's something called a triangle sum theorem. and sum means if you add them. Okay, so triangle sum theorem. So the theorem says the following. In triangle ABC, triangle ABC, this triangle, uh, the sum means the addition of the angles is 180 degrees. So basically what this says the following. The measurement of angle A plus the measurement of angle B plus the measurement of angle C is equal to 180 degrees. And that's it. That's your answer. Okay? So the triangle sum theorem says you have any triangle, if you add them, it would always, always, always be 280 degrees. Always equal to 180 degrees. Now, let me do some examples. So let's call this example number 1. Okay, this is example number 1. Let me take a picture. And they're asking me to find the measurement of, I'm sorry, they're asking me to find x. So this is a problem they gave me. And the question is find x. Sorry for the extra lines, but this, you can see the triangle here. So the question is find x. Well, you're gonna do the triangle sum theorem. So if I put angle A, let me call this angle B, and let me call this angle C. I know that the measurement of angle A plus the measurement of angle B plus the measurement of angle C is equal to 180 degrees. So substitute them. What is the measurement of angle A? Measurement of angle A is 6x plus the measurement of angle B. Angle B is 60 degrees plus the measurement of angle C. Doesn't say, but this symbol means that it's a 90 degrees angle. The right angle is 90 degrees, and that's equal to 180. Once you have this equation, solve for it. Step number 1, eliminate parentheses, fractions, or decimals. I don't have any of them. Number 2 is combine like terms. I can combine 60 and 90. 60 and 90 will give me 150. This cannot be combined with anyone on the left, so that'll be plus 6x. On the right, cannot combine anything. It is by itself, cannot be combined with anyone else. Number 3, separate variables and constants. Variable means letters. The letter will be on the left, so on the left side I want variables. On the right hand side, I would like constants. Variable means letters only. He doesn't have a letter, so get rid of it. Minus 150. What you do to one side, you do to the other side. Now 150 minus 150 cancels, so you have 6x is equal to 180 minus 150 will give you 30. Get the x by itself, divide by 6, divide by 6. This will cancel, so x is equal to 5. Now again, go back and make sure I answer the question. The question is, what is x? So x is equal to 5, and that is the answer. Okay, so that's how we use the angle sum theorem. If you add them, you're always going to get 180 degrees. 180 degrees. Okay, now example number 2. Here's example number 2. And same thing, solve for x. Okay, here's example number 2. And sorry for the extra lines, but you can clearly see the triangle. And it is the same question. The question is find x. That's what they're asking to do. Okay, same idea. Let me call this angle A. Let me call this angle B. And let me call this number C. So if I write the measurement of angle A plus the measurement of angle B plus the measurement of angle C is equal to 180 degrees. Okay, measurement of angle A is x plus 88, so I'm going to put in x plus 88, then plus the measurement of angle B. Angle B is 37 degrees, plus the measurement of angle C, that'll be 64 degrees, and that's equal to 180 degrees. Step number 1, eliminate parentheses, fractions, decimals. I don't have any of them. Number 2 is combine like terms. These 3 can be combined because they're the same. They're alike. 4 plus 7 is 11. 11 plus 8 will be 19. 9 carry 1. 6 plus 3 will give me 9. 9 plus 8 will give me 17. 17 plus 1 will be 189. The x and y combined, so that is x. Can I combine anything on the right hand side? The number is by itself, cannot be combined, so that is 180. Step number 3, separate variables and constants. Variable means the letter. So where is the letter? Letter will be on the left side, so variables on the left and constants on the right. Variable means letters. I would like for both of these to have a letter. If it doesn't have a letter, get rid of it. So 189 does not have a letter, so minus 189. When you do it to one side, you do it to the other. Now these will cancel because they're opposites. So you have x is equal to 180 minus 189 will give you negative 9. And that is your answer. That is your answer. Okay. Now there's another type of problems I want to show you. And let me get to them. Hold on. Something called an exterior angle theorem. Let me do number 6. So let's do problem number 6. So here's how you do number 6. Okay, and the question is the same, find x. Okay, so okay, they gave me angle A. Well, the question was find x or find A. Find angle A. That is the question. So not find x, find angle A. So I'm gonna say the measurement of angle A is equal to x plus 48. Now, if you give me that answer, I'm gonna mark it wrong because I need a number. I don't need the x. But if I knew the x, I could tell you the answer. So if x is 0, 0 plus 48 will give me 48. So angle A is 48. If x is 10, 10 plus 48 will give me 58. So the question, the real question is not what is x. The question, I'm sorry, not what is the angle, but the question is what is x. So I'm gonna do what I showed you earlier. This is A, so I'm gonna call this angle B, and this is angle C. So I'm gonna use the measurement of angle A plus the measurement of angle B plus the measurement of angle C is equal to 180. Now angle A is x plus 48. I can do that. Now the question is what is B? Okay. There are two angles in here. There's this angle and this angle. Many of you say, well, B is 125. It has to be the interior angle. They're talking about this angle right here. This is the measurement. Not 125, but what this is, okay? So the way you do it is you do the following. The measurement from here, because this is a straight line, from here to here will be 180. So 125 plus what gives me 180? Well, 125 plus 5 gives me 130, and 30 plus 50 will give me a 180, so this will be 35. If you don't understand how I got that answer, do this. If you do 180 minus 125, then you get the measurement of this angle. 0 minus 5 can't do that, I need to borrow, that should be a 7. And 10 minus 5 is 5. 7 minus 2 will give you 5. 0. So the answer was not 35. The answer should have been 55. So this is 55. Okay, so you gotta be careful because this is called an interior angle. Okay, and it's obvious why it's interior because this is inside the triangle. So this is called an interior angle. And this angle is called an exterior angle. Okay, and the reason why they call it an exterior angle is because it is on the outside. So when you do A, B, and C, they have to be interior angles. None of them can be exterior. So for B, I'm not gonna put in 125, but it should be 55 because 55 is the interior angle. Now, measurement of angle C is x plus 83, and that's equal to 180. Now, step number one, eliminate parentheses, fractions, or decimals. We have none of them. Number two is combine like terms. On the left, I combine the x and the x. 1x plus 1x will give me 2x. And I can combine the numbers, these numbers, plus these numbers. So the way you do it is 5 plus 5 will give you 10. 10 plus 8 will give you 18. 8 and carry your 1. 8 plus 5 will give you 13. 13 plus 4 will give you 17. Plus 1 is 18. So these will be 188. And this will be a plus. Combined everything on the right. Nothing can be combined, so that is your answer. Step number 3, separate variables and constants. Variables will be on the left, that means a letter, and constants will be on the right. Variables so means letters. I would like both of these to have a letter. These have a letter, so get rid of it. Minus 188 weighted to one side. You must do it to the other side. Now, these will cancel. So you have 2x is equal to 180 minus 188 will give you negative 8. Divide by 2. Divide by 2. So x is equal to negative 4. Okay. Now the question is not what is x. The question is what is the measurement of angle A. So now I'm going to take my answer. And I'm going to go back over here. And where I see the x, I'm going to put the number in here. So now it's not x, it should be, instead of x, I'm going to put in negative 4 plus 48. Negative 4 plus 48 will give you 44. So the measurement of angle A is 44 degrees. 44 degrees. That's what they're asking for, so that is my answer. Angle A is 44 degrees. Okay, so now you're ready for the assignment. Go ahead and do the assignment, please. Thank you.